Family of a County Durham man who died after an accidental overdose have welcomed a review into the growing problem of addiction to prescription drugs.
The North East has the highest rates of people killed because of drug misuse, including the abuse of medication. Across the UK, 1 in every 11 patients last year was prescribed a potentially addictive drug. Our social affairs correspondent Tom Sheldrick reports.
Look at him.
Christine and Peter have only memories of their adopted son now. Lee had used illegal substances before, but in recent years it was mainly prescription drugs, like the strong painkiller tramadol, being traded on the black market.
In his eyes, he was in this safe little bubble because they'd been prescribed, not for him, but they had been prescribed. They had come from a chemist.
There was messages on his phone where a few of them had a shopping list of what they wanted, and they would take turns to go and pick them up and share them out amongst themselves, and it just seemed so amazing that they were so easily available.
Lee died from an accidental overdose 2 years ago when he was just 25. It's thought more prescription drugs are given out in our region than elsewhere. For example, 4.5 million items of antidepressants were prescribed in the North East in 2016, at the highest rate in the country. And the harms from both legal and illegal substances are seen here more often. 191 people in the North East died from drug misuse during that year, nearly double the national rate. At James Cook University Hospital in Middlesbrough, researchers are part of a trial aiming to reduce patients' use of painkillers. But why are we so dependent on such drugs?
It's difficult to tell whether it is a doctor's or a physician's attitude that may well be in hospitals, or it may happen in GP practices, or whether it is an increased demand because of an increased rate of arthritis, chronic long-term painful diseases like low back pain that result from the heritage of working in heavy industry.
The government's review looking at the growing numbers addicted to prescription drugs has been given a cautious welcome.
Government suddenly realised that there's been an increase in prescribing of these drugs. Of course, addiction may be one of the side effects of this, but they have very many therapeutic uses. I think we have to trust the doctors on that, and we have to look at the scale of the problem and the extent to which they're falling into the wrong hands.
Was that where it was?
Today's announcement got stronger support back in Sherburn, County Durham.
It'd only be a good thing. You know, I mean, there's got to be stronger watch on them to see that people that need them get them, and people that don't need them aren't able to get them anymore.
The review is due to last a year. Lee's adoptive parents hope it will bring about real change to stop others from feeling the grief that they have experienced.
Well, Tom joins us now. Tom, why is this review happening now?
Because of a fear, Rachel, that will follow in the footsteps of America, where thousands of people have died after becoming addicted to opioids. They're painkillers, both legal and illegal. We have seen the first signs of that here with a powerful drug called fentanyl linked to several dozen deaths, perhaps, on Teesside and other areas over the last 18 months or so. That's the black market. There's also the problem whereby patients are being given these drugs themselves for the right reasons to manage things like chronic pain and their mental health, drugs that can do a lot of good, but also drugs that they can become addicted to, dependent on, and unable to withdraw from. The James Cook Hospital study that we referenced briefly in my report, that's focusing on how patients can better self-manage, particularly pain, with things like exercise and psychological strategies. The biggest challenge perhaps in all of this is the culture that we've built up, where we go to the doctor and expect to be given some kind of medication to feel better. That perhaps will take a lot of changing.
Indeed, Tom, thank you very much for that.